When we did the Metal Evolution episode on extreme metal, I interviewed Dani Filth of Cradle of Filth at Hellfest in France. One thing about Cradle of Filth, they're probably the most polarizing band in the history of extreme metal, and especially in those rarefied circles of black metal, the band has come under a lot of fire. There's one thing you gotta give Dani credit for, is he knows how to make light of some pretty dark subject matter. Slate is up.
Speeding.
Dani Filth, take one. A and B cam. Well, thank you for sitting down with us once again. I just want to talk a bit about an area that I know you've spoken about before, and is about your Cradle of Filth's place in the history of metal, and particularly in terms of black metal. What were the reasons for and against you being part of black metal, from what you recall?
I guess it was because we went straight away for sort of quite lavish, what we thought at the time, production. And I think it was the fact that we were the only band doing it, and we were separated by a tract of water called the North Sea.
Right.
And everybody was, you know, populated in Europe mainly. Right. I mean, even America had a few more bands than we did, which is ironic really, because, you know, Britain itself has been the sort of smelting pot where goth and punk and black metal originated from.
That's right. I'm sure you love it when journalists do this. I want to read something you said and just want to know if it's something you still feel or what you meant by it. In reference to Dark Throne, everyone was copying that look and posing around in the forest with sticks. I just think it's a sham. It's like trying to recreate magic with nothing other than a bit of grease paint and all these people saying how evil and stuff they are.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. There was a period where every band that was coming out had to look like upturned badgers. And it just, when you stood back from it, you just thought, it's all a little ridiculous, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you've had the rap thing in the late 80s or whatever, the people posing machine guns and all the gangster stuff. And, you know, even that's slightly more hardcore than hanging around in a wood that nobody even knows the name of with pointy sticks. And there were just so many bands doing it. It was just, and nowadays, I mean, no disrespect to anybody, I mean, we still, you know, wear makeup and stuff, but you go to our stage today and there'll be one band after another, you know, all replicating the same look, even 20 years, you know, on.
To what extent were your goals in Cradle, or have been your goals in Cradle, commercial? How important has it been to you to reach a big audience?
You know, I dare anybody when they say they start a band and they don't imagine themselves up on a big stage, you know, playing to a lot of people. And that's exactly when the band was founded, that's how we pictured ourselves. That was the aim. And we were following more in the tradition of, you know, like Slayer and Venom. Venom, you know, put on these amazing shows. And I just think that the whole theatrics, the cinema of it, the look, you know, the sort of feel, the experience of going to a show and being like wowed by something that was more than, you know, day-to-day life.
Yeah. Could you elaborate a bit on Venom and what you loved about Venom's music or visual?
Well, I think they just came at the right time. I jumped very quickly from Bark at the Moon and bands like that, like Twisted Sister and Maiden, to the heavy stuff, just because it was all on the same compilation tapes that my friends made me. And Venom were like this sort of ravenous beast. You know, you had Kiss and they looked the part, but they just didn't sound it. They still don't. But Venom did, and they were really unabashed about it. And you just saw their patches everywhere, and, you know, even though they did a handful of shows, they were huge, and they were like monuments to music, or this sort of bastardized version of music they were doing. As a youth, bands like Venom and King Diamond, Celtic Frost, I think just captured people's imagination because it was big, but it was also mysterious.
You mentioned Celtic Frost. What was it about their music or their look that captivated your imagination?
They were decidedly more underground and heavier and more mysterious, and I think that's probably where a lot of the origins of the second wave of black metal came from.
Yeah.
Because, you know, They were European, they were embedded in Switzerland, they had Geiger artwork, they dressed up in all this chainmail and everything, and they just took Venom's extremity to another extreme.
Right.
That definitely captured my imagination as well, because it was part and parcel of things I could relate to.
Yeah. Why do you think music on the extreme end of the metal spectrum, like yourselves and many bands that are playing here at Hellfest, persist? I mean, this is sort of music that was never supposed to survive.
Well, it has.
Yeah. Why do you think it does persist?
Because there's always an interest in it. You know, it's fast, it can be intricate and noisy and symphonic and, you know, a spectacle. And it's also dangerous. It's everything that your parents didn't want you to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Strangely enough, my mum listens to metal now, having shouted at me bought me Rain in Blood on import and then shouted at me for playing it. She now fancies Tom Araya. There's justice, isn't it? There's justice.
And there's something, it seems, about metal and death metal, grindcore, all these sort of styles that seems to defy the mainstream in a sense. It sort of creates a sound that inevitably resists sort of being sucked in to mainstream.
Well, I think there is a big divide between this sort of music and the music that sort of populates, I don't know, the American airwaves. You can have a #1 film that's a horror movie. You can have a bestseller like Stephen King. But I don't think, and although at one point I really wanted it to happen, I do not think you're going to get a band like Cradle of Filth, Emperor or Immortal, no matter how great the album is, taking a #1 slot, you know, in the US Billboard charts.
Right.
There's just not enough people that get it.
Right.
And maybe that's, you know, maybe that's a trade-off. You know how far you can take it.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's not going to be, you know, the next stadium rock band, but you're happy with that.
Is that ultimately better for the music, that it never takes that #1 spot, do you think?
Yeah, I think so, because it become faddish, and then it would turn into a bit of a circus. I think they thought that's what was going to happen with Cradle. Is that we bring it to the masses, and you get a lot of idiots come in, but you know what? I think the idiots are already there. You know, you can't dictate what people listen to.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're going to start moaning at us, go back and start moaning at Black Sabbath, who started it all.
But interestingly, you're never going to see a collaboration between Slayer and Beyonce, or Cradle of Filth and Taylor Swift or something.
Christ, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Now that would be hardcore. You know, that would possibly be, you know, a lot more hardcore than burning a church down. Because more people are influenced by it. Taylor Swift, that's real evil, you know it.